So summarizing the part number 1 of this video, I have talked already about 3 practices. In fact, the third one is not really a practice, but anyway, the first one is accepting what is, which, as I mentioned, it has 2 aspects. One is learning to accept the situations that come throughout the day, and a second aspect that is learning to accept the internal reactions of the mind-body organism. Then I talked about a second fundamental practice, which is to learn to go instantaneously into an inner form of meditation in your true nature, as your true nature, by using a pointer, like resting as consciousness, resting as the field, underneath all this, and so on. Then I mentioned a third element that is not really a practice. It's called awakening, which usually comes as a result of this practice of inner meditation and accepting what is. Then awakening also, I mentioned that can happen as a result of a spiritual experience. It can be even triggered by a mushroom or triggered by divine grace, a deep meditation that you had. And another possibility is you can use the awakening protocol, which is a 3-hour session designed to look into the human experience, not a spiritual experience, but into the human experience, and wake up to your true nature, realize what you are through that very controlled step-by-step process that is called the awakening protocol, and you can find it in our website. It's done one-on-one with a coach. Then, after awakening, you may ask yourself, well, what type of practices will continue happening after awakening? So I'm going to try to give you an idea. First of all, the 2 first practices, accepting what is and inner meditation, instant inner meditation, are excellent to practice after awakening. In fact, awakening makes these practices more effective. To begin with, when you accept something after awakening, you are accepting the situation outside, but also it's much easier to accept also the reaction of the mind-body organism, because you have realized that you're not this mind-body organism, and therefore it's easy to detach yourself. Resting as awareness, or resting as consciousness, or whatever way you want to call this, inner meditation becomes easier also because you realize that actually you are resting as you yourself, as your true nature. And then other type of practices begin to emerge. One practice that is valuable is to reenact the awakening. For example, in the morning. How you reenact the awakening? Well, awakening has revealed to you that there is no one here. So you close your eyes for a moment and you begin to repeat the idea there is no one here until you feel empty. More and more empty. Some teachers call it spacious. there is a spaciousness that opens up, that the Buddhists call it emptiness. It's actually consciousness perceiving itself. So the reenactment of the awakening is valuable, especially if you do it in the morning. It sets the tone for the day. There is no so and so here, it's an illusion. Another practice that is valuable during the embodiment process is to talk to the mind-body organism as assuming and knowing, in this case, that you are consciousness. So you talk to the mind-body organism as a you, and in that way you begin to create detachment from this, greater and greater and greater detachment from this thing, right? That's a valuable practice too. And another one that really helps is called the surrendering technique. The surrendering technique has for purpose to let go of something in the mind-body organism that is obstructing the experiencing of your true nature constantly. Meaning something in the mind-body system that is pulling you out of this inner meditation that we are talking about. So when you encounter some tendency, thought, trauma from the past, or whatever, you use the surrendering technique to surrender it to consciousness. This technique is somewhat dualistic, but not entirely, and is very effective. I have also recorded some videos on the surrendering technique. If you look, you will find them. So the surrendering technique helps you to change what needs to be changed still in the mind-body organism. Is that a contradiction with the other technique, accepting everything as it is, including the reaction of the mind-body organism? Yes, it's apparently contradictory, but it's not, in the sense that you will realize that certain things in the mind-body organism actually is better to change them at once and for good, so that the mind-body organism becomes a better and better and better instrument of sensory perception for consciousness, for awareness. So yes, we need to cooperate with evolution. Yeah, it's not a matter of just saying I am the way I am, or this mind-body organism is the way it is, and it will keep doing stupid things all the way to the grave. Doesn't work like that. Those stupid things, awaken or not awaken, will come and get you. So certain things you need to change them. Other things you can bypass them. Or you may be able to bypass them for a while, and then you will need to change them. And you don't change them really. I mean, there is consciousness that does the job. You surrender them. It's a little bit like in the 12-step program, right? You say I'm an alcoholic and I am powerless. But there is a higher power that can do the job and heal this. It's kind of similar. The surrendering technique is fundamentally used to surrender negative emotions. You simply identify the emotion that is happening in the mind-body organism, you give it a name, and you use a template to surrender and let go of that emotion. Now, you can also surrender other type of mental objects. It can be an expectation, a desire, a compulsion, a thought, an obsessive thought, anything that is disturbing your inner peace and your capacity as awareness to rest in yourself, because the mind-body organism is poorly programmed. You surrender the emotion, and we know that the emotion is the tip of the iceberg. Underneath there is a lot of stuff. But by surrendering the emotion, and this is a great contradiction with Advaita, right? You're using free will and giving authorization to consciousness to modify the mind-body organism and its circuits so that it will operate more effectively in the future. Look for the video on the surrendering technique that I recorded some time ago. I cannot recommend enough the surrendering technique. It's of immense value for the process of embodiment. Embodying your true nature. The mind-body organism needs to be improved. I'm not saying perfected, okay? I'm saying improved. So that it stops being an obstacle for experiencing your true self all the time. Because that's the goal. To function from your true self, to be as your true self, to rest as your true self 24/7. That's liberation. We arrive there by stages. Awakening takes a moment. Liberation does not. It takes more than that. Eventually, other realizations begin to come. Realizations or revelations begin to come to your life. Oneness. Another one, a very important one, is nothing is everything and everything is nothing. Meaning everything is consciousness and consciousness is everything. That's a revelation. But don't obsess with revelations and getting farther and farther revelations and bigger revelations, because you get a revelation and unless it changes your life, unless you embody it, will not make a big difference. Many people have had incredible revelations with mushrooms and they never became really enlightened. They went back to their suffering. The revelation that you are consciousness, pure awareness, pure consciousness, that you are not the body, nor the mind, nor this character, this human character, nor an astral character, that you are nothing of that you are pure awareness. That revelation can keep you busy for the rest of your life embodying it. So why chasing for other revelations? Let them come to you. They will come naturally. In the meantime, embody that. Be the embodiment of that truth, that you are the divine, the formless divine consciousness. I hope this helps. And I also want to mention that awakening brings a lot of peace. and it makes your life much easier, right? This obsession with evolving and finding God and so on drops away. But the journey is not finished. After awakening, the embodiment process begins. And for that part of the journey, consider visiting the same website, brainoptimization.com, and there is a course. It's a 5-month course titled Psychology of Consciousness, with emphasis in non-duality. That course has been designed to help you to embody the awakening, wake up at the beginning, then embody the awakening, and then get all the tools you will need and learn to use them for the rest of the process, which may be the rest of your life, embodying the realization, the awakening that you are the divine, the one consciousness. There are not two consciousness in the universe. There is one only consciousness, and you are that. Embody that is enough a challenge. So I hope this helped you, and life becomes great when you accept it as it is. So start there.